What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for this week's episode of Hero Aka Season 6. And yo, this episode was phenomenal. I would like. First off, first things first. Let's talk about one thing I thought was kind of funny. Apparently, this episode leaked yesterday. Apparently, because yesterday I saw some people talk about the OP, mostly because of that one shot with Uraraka. Because as I mentioned to you guys recently in through the previous reviews, I mentioned that I started following a few Izuku Uraraka shipper accounts because of the fan art they retweet. And because of these shipper accounts, I have learned through the grapevine what's going on in these shipping communities. And bro, first off, it's so weird how so many people are getting so up in arms about one shot. That one shot of Uraraka holding Izuku's head. I thought it was kind of funny how everybody is getting so up in arms about that. Everybody is triggered by it. Like, shippers are weird, man. People that dedicate their lives to shipping and make that shit their personality. That's what they dedicate their Twitters to. A lot of the times, there can be some weird people that get into these shipping wars, bro. When they get so up in arms about certain things, bro. Not saying all shipper accounts like this. I'm sure they're playing there cool, and like the ones I follow seem to be pretty chill as well. But that's at least what I've been hearing, man. That's at least what I've been hearing, man. I haven't really seen much of myself, although I have seen a few people do complaining about and talk about that one shot and getting weirdly up in arms about like, bro, it's one shot. Y'all have to like completely change the scene because apparently, I don't know if this is even a spoiler or whatnot. Apparently, the manga originally it's supposed to be Ida's hand that's got that replaced with Uraraka's hand. Apparently, like I said, I don't really mind it. It's whatever. Plus, you guys know I ship Uraraka and Izuku, so it's whatever to me. But yeah, I just thought that one shot was just really weird, man. Or just the uproar, rather, the backlash of it. As I just thought was kind of weird, man. But besides that, man, the OP itself was phenomenal. We'll talk more about that when we get to the episode, because there's a couple things I want to talk about. The ED more specifically has a little bit more that I want to talk about and analyze about. OP, there isn't much for me to analyze about because I'm an anime only. But the OP is phenomenal, man. I love the OP. I love the ED. But back to this episode. One thing I gotta say about this episode, because I did not have that many high hopes. Like, I didn't have much of high expectations for this episode because, with these usual in-between episodes between arcs, you're not really expecting anything too crazy. Nothing gonna be too crazy. And a good chunk, and basically the entire first half of this episode was recap. So, I was like, okay, my review of this episode is gonna get pretty short, but I gotta say, this has to be one of, if not maybe even the best, directed and storyboard episodes of season 6, because even though a good chunk of this episode's recap, I think the way how Bones handled it by presenting it as Izuku reading the police report of what happened, I think, and of course, with the music and everything, and especially with certain shots they use for this episode, and of course, once you get to the second half with Uraraka, my god, that shit was amazing, man. Once you get to the actual content is in recap, that was amazing as well. But I gotta say, in terms of recaps, this gotta be one of some of the better ones I've seen. Because I'm sure a lot of people are probably complaining about why is there so much? Why is that first half of this episode recap? We don't need it. Which to be fair, you can make the argument for that we didn't need the recap, but it's whatever. I don't mind rewatching, re-seeing some of the best moments of the first half of the season. And like I said, the music was also. I thought the way they presented, I thought was really good, man. And also the storyboard, just like I mentioned before, was absolutely incredible, man. But anyway, let's jump right into the actual episode, man. So we start the episode off with Izuku saying that he found that after some time he did eventually read the police report from the Hero Commission and was able to finally get the full story of what happened during this whole joint operation of taking down the Paragon Liberation Front. And we first started off with the Heroes Committee actually bringing in a key person that was involved in the Denkai event to their headquarters, and it's of course Reed Destro that the idea, or what they told Reed Destro, is that they were going to bring him in because you guys know Reed Destro has his own separate company that works on, and that he's using to try and put his people in there to destroy Hero Society and all that shit from Solid Season 5. That they were invited to the Heroes Commission to become part of the joint operation between them on support devices. And now the interesting thing about this is that the woman, who I'm assuming is Reed Destro's assistant or something, says that she's surprised that they took interest in their products, was that the reason she thinks they took interest was because of the part they play in increasing social anxiety, apparently, which First of all, what are you selling? Like, what are these support devices that you are selling that increase social anxiety? Are you guys selling pills, performance-enhancing drugs, or something? Like, or like, what could you be selling that would increase social anxiety unless it was like pills or maybe something else, maybe something to do with like their minds or something you hook your brain up to? I don't know. I just found that kind of weird that they have that their devices apparently increase social anxiety of all things. I just thought that was interesting. And then I'm probably going to just go the rest of the review, just talk about a handful of shots that really impressed me, but I love this one shot we get of Destro when we see him when we see him like looking out and we see him outside the car. There's another one we saw earlier as well when we see him in the car, man. Like I said, the storyboard of this episode was absolutely amazing. And he says that the real reason because they couldn't ignore the products any longer. And if we succeed here, we can get deep in there, we can sell, we can add back doors for products to the joint better, send in spies. And then we get once again another amazing shot of Destro when he pushes the window down a little bit and you see his eyes and like the shots of the camera's positioned a little bit more upward, man. Like I said, another amazing shot, man. Like I'm curious to know how many screenshots I'll get for this episode when I start to get the screenshots with the thumbnail. It might honestly be 200. Because you guys know I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in a review a few weeks back that most of the time, because the storyboard in the season's been so good, most of the screenshots I get for the thumbnail usually end up being like at least 100. I usually always end up getting like at least 100 screenshots of the episode when I'm getting them from the thumbnail, man. But we then cut over to the OP. Now, like I said, there isn't really too much for me to analyze like I was able for the last one because like I said, I'm an anime only. There's not really that much to dig into, at least from my perspective. But there are a couple of shots that I really want to talk. First off, I love the overall art style of this OP. It looks a little bit different from the show. It's not nearly as stylish as the last one was. I don't know who Bones has been getting working on their OPs now for season 6. I don't know if it's the same team, the same directors that worked on both of the OPs for season 6. But whoever they got working on the OPs for season 6, can we just have them working on the OPs for the rest of the series, man? Because I've been loving the looks of these OPs, man, and this one is no different. I love the little slight change in the art style they did for this OP, and I just love this amazing shot of Izuku where we actually get to see him, where he looks up and we see half his face normally and then half his face with the mask on. Which, first of all, fucking finally, I am so happy to see Izuku wearing his mask actually, because we haven't seen this dude actually wear his mask since season 1, because for whatever reason, Horikoshi just decided to have Izuku never wear his mask, even though it's always on him, bro. He always has that mouth guard and the hood and the little the ear thing, that he pulls over his head. He never actually wears it for whatever reason. It always is just chilling on. It's always just chilling on his neck. The only time we actually got to see it, at least part of it, was in the second season 3 OP when we were doing when they were getting their licenses, their hero licenses. They actually had a shot where Izuku was wearing at least the top part of his mask on before it got blown up by the wind. So it's nice to see him actually wear it fully. And oh my god, it looks absolutely amazing. I love that shot. Another shot that I love is a shot of Izuku overseeing the destroyed city. Now, you guys know, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before in previous reviews. I might even mention this at the end of my season 5 reviews, that I have seen a handful of panels from this arc on Twitter when it was just starting to pop off, and this was one of those shots. I think either Chibi mentioned this, or I might have just either on maybe the chapter video we did, because I might have actually watched, or maybe just mentioned this on Twitter when the chapter came up. But I love this shot of Izuku overlooking the city. It's very much Jim Lee inspired with his Batman cover as well as a Superman cover, where they two were both Batman and Superman overlooking Metropolis and Gotham City. It reminded me a lot of that cover artwork, and oh my god, it looks amazing in the OP. I do wonder if this means we're not going to get in the actual show because it's in the OP, or if it's going to still be in there, man. But either way, man, the shot of Izuku overlooking the city looks absolutely incredible. And of course, it's actually raining, so all the manga readers complaining like, oh, the war arc doesn't have the atmosphere because of the blue sky. The blue sky's ruining the arc. Which, you guys know, I thought that was kind of weird. Like, what color would you prefer? I'm genuinely asking, but whatever the case may be, I didn't really bother me or anything. But yeah, it's going to be raining throughout this arc, so rejoice. You'll get your atmosphere. Anyway, I love that shot of Izuku overlooking the city. Also, I gotta say, I love the song of this OP as well. Now, if this OP sounds familiar, the singer sounds familiar to you guys, because it was to me when I was watching it. It's done by Eve, who actually also did the first OP for Jujutsu Kaisen. So, if you guys wonder why the OP guy sounds a little bit familiar to, it's the same band that did the Jujutsu Kaisen OP. Because I was listen, this singer sounds really familiar. What anime do I know them from? And it was Jujutsu Kaisen, so I was like, cool. So we get a couple other shots. We also, of course, get introduced to the new character that's going to be introduced in this arc. I know nothing about this one, but judging from the reaction on Twitter, it seems like she is a fan favorite character. We then, of course, get this infamous shot now, I guess, of Izuku, of Uraraka holding Izuku's hand. Like, it's so weird how people got so up and under. I'm more surprised people were bitching about how his glove doesn't look the same as it does in the manga. You know, because they love comparing the manga panels to the anime. It's like, oh, it doesn't look as good. Then Bones just casually drops some amazing looking shot of Izuku, like of Izuku swinging through the city. Looks absolutely amazing. Now we get this other shot as well where we see Izuku firing up One for All. Lightning lights are going all over the place, and we see some of his classmates of 1A also going in. Now, like I said, I know some of the handful of panels of this arc, so I have a kind of an idea of what this could be referring to, what this could be leading to, where it looks like we might be seeing Izuku going up against his classmates. But if you pay attention to the OP itself, or at least this is how it looks to me, it looks like the one that character these guys are actually fighting looks like Shigaraki. So I don't know if this is just an animation error that'll maybe get fixed up in the Blu-ray. That they'll switch out Shigaraki for Izuku, or maybe they might even fix this in the next episode if this is an animation error, or maybe we could be seeing Izuku, or maybe we might be seeing Class A and Shigaraki face off again later on this arc. Don't know for certain, but judging from the way it looks like they're supposed to be fighting Izuku, but in this shot here, it looks like it's Shigaraki. I don't know, that's at least how it looks to me. It could be Izuku, but from the way it looks like it's more Shigaraki than Izuku. Either way, man, this part of the episode, this of the OP, looked amazing as well. And I love these shots where we see Izuku with his hero costume on, his mouth guard and everything, fade away till we just see him. The same thing does for Shigaraki as well, when he just transfers back to his kid self, follows at the feet of Izuku as he stretches his hand out to him. Love it. Love the shot, love the music. The OP, this OP is easily one of my all-time favorites of season of one of my all-time favorite OPs of the series so far, man. Loving it. This OP was amazing. So once we cut back from the OP, we then get back to Reed Destro meeting with the Hero Commission. The chairwoman finally meets with them, and Reed Destro stands up, and she says sorry for waiting, and then of course during Destro's assistant says no, thank you, saying thank you for such an amazing proposal. And also one thing I actually thought was kind of cool here is that actually my sitting right next to her was actually the dude from the provisional license exam arc from season 3. The guy that was like dead tired, that desperately needs some sleep, that was almost always sleeping, that was always like 2 seconds away from just falling asleep. And I think it was also in season 4 as well, during that mini arc with Bakugo when they were doing the makeups for their provisional license exams. He made an appearance too, which I thought was pretty cool to see him again. We haven't seen him in a while. He actually wasn't the only character that we haven't seen for over a season make a small cameo appearance in this episode, which I thought was pretty cool. It's always kind of cool when you see a character that we haven't seen for a while make a small cameo. I always enjoy that. Anyway, once everyone's hit there, and they both have said their thanks for this proposal. She continues on saying like, "Oh, I'm glad. We're looking forward to making excellent products with you." Only to find out that this entire thing was a fucking ruse, because she then has all her guys point her guns at him and say that but for this proposal, we'd like to take it back to the drawing board. We also give this tight close-up on her face with this bong sound effect on it, like it's fucking Inception. Then we see other heroes popping out of another door, descending outside the window. Like it's a fucking meme with the SWAT team be like, FBI, open up, all that shit. Before we then cut away, and then we see the aftermath what happened, and that he knew that Reed Destro knew that they were being watched by the Safety Commission, but he was kind of hoping that they actually just couldn't ignore their proxy more and actually wanted to work together with them. He actually seems pretty sad that it was indeed a trick, and it wasn't because they actually generally wanted to work with him. He seemed really hurt by that, honestly. And we also see that Reed Destro that went on here was actually double created by Twice, and which also would explain why Reed Destro is probably still chilling in the basement of their hideout at the beginning of the season. But this also probably would also explain why he was so fucking happy when we first saw him. You guys remember when we saw him at the beginning of the season, man was happy as a clam, bro. He had the biggest smile on his face, man. You thought this man just won the lottery. And it seems like we finally figured out the reason why. It seems like he thought this little proposal they offered was legit, and he was kind of happy that they did offer him this. So it seems like that's probably the reason why he was so happy in the beginning of the season. season. That's at least my theory anyway. I could be wrong, but either way, his double adventure just completely disappears. We get some more narration from Izuku saying that the chairwoman was indeed killed during this, and that the Public Safety Commission was thrown into chaos. And then from there, it's a straight up recap from what we saw up to season 6, up to this point. Which, like I said, I like the way they did really presented it as Izuku reading out the police report by the Safety Commission on what happened. The music here was also really nice as well. We then cut over to what they actually wrote about Izuku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, where everyone there denied that they were ever involved. Then we get this amazing shot of where we see the actual report sitting on a desk, and oh my god, dude, I love the way that this is shot and lit and everything, because you see the report on a desk, you see light coming out of the blinders, and oh my god, it looks something straight out of a 40s crime noir film, man. And oh my god, to me, we also get another shot of this a little bit later in the episode where we get a much wider shot of it. It looks amazing, bro. I don't know if this was added by the anime themselves, or this was also in the manga as well. But either way, man, I love the way this was shot. Looked like something right out of a crime noir movie, man. And oh my god, it looked amazing. That was probably one of my favorite shots of the episode. Honestly, was that. Now, after that, that's when we finally get to the commercial cards. So by this point, we started to finally get to some actual new material. But then right when we started to get to that, bam, come right to commercial. And I'm sure the fact that the commercial cards were both Izuku and Uraraka just further enraged all the people that were pissy about that one shot from the OP. Which also, almost forgot to mention this. One thing about the OP that I forgot to mention I thought was interesting. This is something I've been kind of theorized about since I first saw these manga panels last year, is Izuku's arms. Because if you guys notice, Izuku's arms got this this red sleeve added to them. Now, at first when this was going in the manga, I couldn't tell for certain if this was just some red sleeves he was wearing to protect his arm, or if his arms were generally just that fucked up from the battle with Shigaraki. Also, I love the fact that he's reverted back to his season 2 gloves. Thank Christ, because I think I might have mentioned this back in my season 3 reviews when I was reviewing season 3, that I was never really a big fan of Izuku's gloves getting extended all the way up to his arm. Yeah, it makes sense in the story because he wants to protect his arm there, but I always just never liked the design of them. It did get fixed up when Horikoshi gave Izuku those wind gauntlet things. I did kind of fix the design a little bit, but I always thought his season 2 design was his best design when he had the shorter gloves. So I'm glad to see them returning. But as I was saying, I always wondered when I saw fan colors of the manga chapters, when those first couple manga chapters was when the first started beginning, if this was either just some red sleeves he was wearing or just his armor that fucked up. Couldn't really tell. But once we started to get some official color armor from Horikoshi himself, and of course here it's obviously that they are indeed sleeves he's wearing. Now, if you look at the design of them, if you guys have seen the movies, they look familiar. Because, at least from the way I can see them from the shots we've got in the OP so far, they look to be very similar to the glove that Izuku's wearing in 2 Heroes that Melissa gave him at the end of the movie, which you guys know got destroyed at the end of the movie because of course it was. But I don't know, I never knew, and I don't know if this is actually the case. But what he's wearing there under his gloves are actually those sleeves he was wearing in 2 Heroes? That would be fucking cool if actually Horikoshi brought something in from the movies and brought back into the canon of the actual series. I think that would be cool. Those are actually those same sleeves he was wearing in 2 Heroes. I don't know for sure. It could be something else entirely different, but it's cool. That's something I noticed, and I'm low-key kind of hoping that is from 2 Heroes, that these are the same sleeves that Melissa gave him in 2 Heroes, man. That would be kind of cool if Horikoshi did bring something from the movies back into the actual series. That would be cool, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But I am kind of hopeful that those are indeed the same things from 2 Heroes, man. That would be fucking awesome if it was the case. Anyway, Izuku continues on bringing up the report of what happened, where we find out basically on who else was captured. We had Makia, Makia, Garaki, of course, with Destro, a few others as well. And once again, I love the way that this is presented. I already mentioned it before, like I said before, we probably could have gone without the recap, and probably would have been better if we just got right into the new material rather than recapping basically the entire arc in the first half of the episode. But like I said, I thought the overall way to do this episode was directed, and so it's directed, and of course the storyboarding as well really elevated this content, from turning this whole section to a very boring, recap section that basically bogs down the pacing and everything, just something that I think makes it a little more, that makes it way more engaging, at least in my personal opinion. Where we see it as an article or a newspaper, where we have screenshots from previous episodes of when Garaki was getting captured by the cops. We then have Garaki getting carried away by 2 helicopters. How big he is. We see some of the other heroes, villains that got captured as well. Of course, Mr. Compress, so the other Nomus, the sympathizers we saw earlier on as well. We then head back over to the hideout of the Paranormal Liberation Front, where we see that very Destro, that man is still standing, or I guess sitting, considering he doesn't have his legs anymore for whatever reason. But Headshot comes in there, takes him out there, and we see that Cementos and the Ice Climber are still fighting, even after like what? 10 episodes, 9 episodes, these two are still duking it out, which I just thought was funny. The Ice Climbers eventually defeat, of course, Cementos fall down as well. And then this, I thought, was really fucking cool, man, where we see that some of the other bigger names that got from the Paranormal Liberation Front that got arrested, they actually take a shot. I love how Bones did this, where they take the shot that we see of them and then change the background behind it into like that, that height meter thing that we see that you see in prison mugshots all the time, and did that, but also made black and white, had the little text card as well, the little title card with like the name on everything. It looked really fucking cool, man. I love the way this was directed. Like I said, we probably could have gone without the recap, man. It probably would have been better for the show and better for the pacing, but like I said, I love the way this was directed. It really elevated this part of the episode when they were just when they were doing they did like this, man. So then we get back over to the actual battleground itself of Jakku City, and we see the cops are still trying to find Toga where she is, because we know she's still on the run, and then we also see actually this little like plushie of like this Endeavor amongst the destruction, man, which I thought was an interesting shot. Another shot that I thought was also really cool is that where it's basically shot from like the inside where some of the rubble is. There's a little hole in there, and you see some of the cops walking right past me. I thought that was another amazing shot. And also, like I said, I know I've been praising Bones a lot in this episode and this season in general, man, but I got to give a major shout to Corey Press, man. His writing here was godly, and oh my god! But once again, like I said, the directing of this episode was so good, the storyboard and everything like that. I thought this was also enhanced from how it was in the manga, man, because of the music. Oh my god! The score in this part of the episode, and just this entire episode in general, was godly. Listen, man, listen. Say what you will, Caesar. You want to bitch about the sky? Fine. You want to talk about and criticize the animation in the Izuku and Shigaraki fight, not having the Sakuga, having a lot of still frames of it? Fine. But you guys cannot tell me that the OST for Season 6 hasn't been godly, bro, because my god, this is probably one of my all-time favorite OSTs ever, man. Sure, that's probably recency bias talking, and I am reviewing this series as well, but still, man, the OST for this season has been absolutely on another level, man. God mode, as I've said before many times in the past. But, yo, another thing we gotta tell about, the voice acting here was amazing as well, from the extras we see of the civilians to, of course, the main cast member, Izuku, as well, for his performance during the narration for the police report. I thought it was really good as well, but, yeah. Now, first thing I gotta talk about, once again, we get another amazing shot as we overhear tons of people in the background that say, like, oh, it's crumbling, help, as we see this one police officer just staring out into the destruction in front of him as the camera pans back from him. Oh my god, it looks so good. I know I've been kind of going off on the shots a lot of times, but you guys know I'm a film student, so I'm going to go off on this stuff because, oh my god, this episode was so well shot, man. But like I said, the voice acting here was absolutely amazing, man. And the cop tells them to prioritize saving lives, and he tells them to set in an evacuation shelter somewhere. And also, one thing I forgot to mention, I got mentioned around that, is, did anyone else get like a lot of like Man of Steel, BVS vibes from this, man? Because seeing the destruction of Jakku City and the way it's shot, and of course the voice acting and everything, I got a lot of the destruction of Metropolis at the end of Man of Steel, and of course BVS as well. I don't know, maybe Horticulture was a little bit inspired by those two movies when he was doing this scene in the manga, but when I was watching this, man, I did get some BVS Man of Steel vibes to destruction of Metropolis this movie in the here, man. But so then we get over to like this to these two siblings, little sister and an older brother. The brother is stuck underneath the rubble, and the sister is desperately trying to get him out there. She's trying to get out of there, as we see that some of the rubble from the building right next to her is starting to crumble a little bit as she's trying to get it. She's trying to pull him out of his rubble, man. And once again, I gotta give a massive praise and a shout out to the voice actor. Whoever voiced these two kids, man, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all did an amazing job, man. As the sister's trying to get her brother out there, he's telling her to leave. That if she does, he'll give her that Endeavor plush she wants. And then no, like this kind of hit my heartstrings a little bit, where she says, I don't want the pouch. I just want to stay with you. No, bro. That kind of hit me in the heartstrings a little bit, bro. And so then the building starts to collapse on them, and then literally at the last possible second, Uraraka and Sue come in there and save it, bro. I was like, damn, that is close. That is as close as you can get. And Uraraka shed the same seven, which I like that. Which I like that Horikoshi did this with Uraraka with her face being of her like, Jesus Christ, that was way too close. So yeah, the sister like of course runs over to her brother. We hear more people crying on the distance. Uraraka tries to save them all as well. We see this one dude asking for his wife. Now she's still stuck in the building. She asks what his apartment number is, 403. She manages to save them as we get to more neighbors in person. If she wants to save it, that she's gonna try and save as many people as she possibly can. We then see more people. We also see Koda is helping out as well. Of course, there's the birds as a surveillance figure of who else is stuck in the rubble. As we see a bunch of the other characters helping out there. We start to see we also see like one of the shows going on, how they don't have enough blood left, they only have like 4 packs left of O-type blood. Uraraka saves another guy that looks like he's like some sort of fishman, and he might be Jewish, I think, considering he has like that little cap thing that a lot of Jewish people wear. I don't know if he is. Oh, that might be part of his quirk. I don't know. Maybe Horikoshi just thought, oh, that looks good. I don't know, bro. But yeah, either way, the dude needs some water. I'm assuming because of his skin or whatever. Uraraka says she'll get him some, and then we get to the scene, man. And also, guys, I know, like, guys, throughout most of this part of the episode, man, your boy was getting chills, bro. Like, this scene was awesome, man. Like I said, the directing was amazing, the music was incredible, the voice acting was incredible, the storyboarding was absolutely amazing. Horikoshi's writing was on another level, man. Like, peak, man, peak. But anyway, then we get to this one shot where we see one of the pro heroes saying, "This is hopeless." We get this amazing shot of Uraraka. Oh my god, it's got to be one of my favorite shots of Uraraka the entire season. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is just me. But I feel like Uraraka got the same powers as Mocha from Rosario Vampire. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys know I was reading the manga earlier this year before I finished it. You guys know, if you saw my tweets, that I was constantly gushing about how beautiful Mocha looked in like every shot she's in. I don't know, bro. Uraraka got that same power because she looks so amazing in this one shot, but even though she's covered in blood and, you know, we see her face and everything, bro, she still looks absolutely amazing, man. And anyway, back to what I was saying. Then we get another amazing shot of the pro just staring into the distance of the destruction in front of him as the camera pans back, where he says, "I need to find another life." And oh my god, the voice acting here was amazing, impeccable. God, like you guys know, I prefer the dub cast, man, but the Japanese cast season 6, man, they've been on a different level, man. They have been absolutely killing it with this season, man. Amazing voice acting from just the main cast, the supporting characters, the extra, man, the Ram Diaz again for the extra character, man. Everyone here's been absolutely fantastic. So then we finally cut over back to Mina and the other guys as they finally found Midnight. And first thing first, before we get into the stuff with Midnight, I gotta say, I love the look of the sky in this part of the episode. Yeah, I know. But in all seriousness, I did like the look of the sky. I love the shade of purple that Bones used for this, for the sky right here. I thought it looked really nice. So as I was saying, we're back with Midnight, and you got, of course, Kirishima, Mina, and Momo bawling their eyes out about Midnight. Oh my god, I got another amazing shot of this episode was when we see Mina like grabbing onto Midnight's hand from like the grass. Oh my god, it looks amazing. I'm sorry I keep going off on these shots, man, but yeah, like I said before, you guys know I'm a film student, so I always pop off for shit like this, man. It looks so good. This episode was so good, man. Now, at first, there's Moses as they're all bawling their eyes out. I thought, well, maybe Midnight isn't dead because no one definitively says Midnight is dead. But given what we see later on in the episode, and of course, the sketch Horikoshi posted today, which, first off, bro, for the love of God, bro, stop sketching, man. Like, I'm looking up for your help because you guys don't know. In the latest author's comment, Horikoshi post, man said that his shoulder hurts so bad that he wishes he had no shoulder at all. And I'm like, bro, stop posting the sketches, man. Don't post them where color pages that are for the manga, bro. Like, for God's sakes, man, just take a break. Which it seems like he is. I saw a tweet that said apparently manga's gonna be going on break this week or maybe next week. Which, if that's the case, thank the gods. Let this man rest a little bit, man. I feel so bad for Horikoshi, man. He also shares way more in common with these than originally thought because they're both clearly gluds for punishment and both have massively high pain tolerances, it seems, man. But yeah, whatever the case may be. So yeah, from that, it seems like she is indeed dead. which seems like that is the case, man. But the sketch itself looked amazing as well. So thanks, Horikoshi, but please stop sketching for episodes, man. Just stick to the manga, please, bro. Stop. Don't strain your shoulder more than it needs to, bro. Please. Anyway, man. But yeah, hopefully Horikoshi Sensei ends up being okay, man. This doesn't do any like massive irreparable damage to his shoulder or anything, man. Once the series ended, man. Honestly, if you ask me, he should go on break for like a month or something, man. But it's the final arc, so he's probably gonna push through it until it's finished. Then he'll probably let his shoulder rest. But whatever the case may be. Anyway, as I was saying, we find out a few more of the heroes also died as well, and we hear from Garaki's disposition that Shigaraki was indeed dead. This I thought was pretty interesting. Was that when his pod was destroyed and everything, he was dead. Even the electric shock, which you guys know if I got in my review of that episode, I said that probably would end up reviving him, a la Frankenstein's monster. It wasn't even that as well because the electric shock was so weak that not even Exodus could feel it. So what really resurrected him was just his memories and his hatred and it was his dreams and his hatred. That's what really revived him. So yeah, we get the real reason why he got revived. It wasn't the electric shock and Horikoshi wasn't trying. It wasn't patron to like 30s horror movies with like Frankenstein's monster doing the whole lightning bolt thing, but no. And then from here, then Izuku mentions again how there was a bunch of heroes that lost their lives and all this, and we see a bunch of pictures of the heroes face that did die, all get pixelated before they disappear, including Midnight as well. So I'm assuming that she is indeed dead, it looks like. Or maybe she's still alive, man, and, she's just barely alive. We don't know. Like I said, nobody definitively said Midnight is dead, so who knows? But it looks like she is dead. Then we got to hear some chatter from regular civilians. Although one of these guys straight up looks like a grown-up version of Principal Nezu. I noticed. I don't know if y'all knows that dude, but one of them straight up looks like Principal Nezu if he grew up. So we hear them talking about isn't their job to protect us? What's going on? Is what the news on the news true? And one of the guys says that maybe it's time to move on overseas. So then we see actually two of the kids we saw from that mini arc in season 4 where Bakugo and Todoroki were doing their makeup for their license exam. So it's just pretty cool to see him. Although, why is the rich kid got a phone, man? Like, bro, you are 8 years old, bro. Why do you have a smartphone? Why are you rocking an iPhone? I mean, if his family's rich, I mean, I guess, whatever. But still, bro, you were like 8 years old. Why the fuck you got an iPhone, kid? You're 8 years old. Who are you calling, bro? Who is your contact? Do you have a business you're running online, man, on TikTok? Do you have business business partners I don't know about? Why do you have a phone at like 8 years old, man? Either way, man. But yeah, if I also did do that episode discussion for episode 9, I probably wouldn't even recognize these kids because I was all the way back in season 4. So then we end the episode off at Tartarus with All for One and Shiga All for One, I guess I should call him now, because they're now merged into one being, saying that he wants to free his real body. And also we also get this, and also shout out to the key animators who worked in this episard as well. The key animators was fantastic as well, because I love the shot we get of Spinner right when he's just like staring at Shigaraki, man. Love that shot, man, as it's raining and everything, man. So yeah, and that's where the episode ends. And it looks like from the next episode preview, we're going to be getting a prison break, boys. And it looks like we might even see Muscular. Well, we see like a big dude in the smoke, and it looks like Muscular. If it's Muscular, that's going to be awesome, bro. And hopefully that also means we might also get to see a shot. We might get a small cameo of Overhaul. That would be cool if Overhaul got a small little cameo. You guys know I love Overhaul. He's my favorite Hero Waka villain. So it'd be cool if he got a small cameo. But we'll have to wait and see on that next week. Now let's talk about the ED. The ED is also phenomenal as well. I also checked because Abandoned for this one will sound familiar as well. I tried looking them up. I couldn't really find any songs that sound familiar to me. Couldn't really find. So I don't know if they have done any other animes I've watched. If you guys know for certain, leave it down in the comments. But it seems like they haven't really done any animes that I've watched. But I love the ED. First off, I love how we start where we see ED where Izuku's just like jogging. We're starting to go through like the first episode of season 1, but then he trips when we see the shots of Bakugo destroying, burning his journal, and of course that shot when Izuku and his mom when he was told that he couldn't be a hero and he doesn't have a quirk anymore. But then he's like full on sprinting as we get to when he's saving Bakugo and meets All for One at the start of season 1. Love that shot, man. Love that. And yeah, from there we just get a bunch of shots from previous seasons. Some of them them seem to be radio shots from the previous season. Some of them seem to be some of them seem to be similar shots or similar scenes, but from a different angle than we saw in the anime, man. Either way, man, it looked amazing. The song was amazing, man. I love this shot of Izuku when he's standing right in front of the statue of All Might, and I love that there's a sign on him now that says "I am not here, man." I thought that was a brilliant choice by Horikoshi. We see this as well as again. This also kind of makes me wonder if this is some BVS inspiration seeping into Hiroa, because you guys know in BVS at the Superman statue he had spray painted false god on him, man. So I wonder if Horikoshi was kind of trying to do something similar with this scene in All For One. Either way, man, I like the little depth of field thing they do as well, man. And just the song itself looks amazing. But yeah. That's where the episode ends, man. Like I said, it looks like next week's going to be Prison Break. Muscular might make an appearance. Hopefully, might also get an overhaul cameo. That would be nice as well, man. And yeah, I'm hyped for next week. You guys are definitely going to get reactions to next week's episode, man. And yeah. Anyway, guys, overall, my final verdict of this episode, and I'm kind of surprised this episode, that this my final verdict is this high, because like I said, I didn't think this episode was going to be as good as it ended up being, man. Easily one of the best directed episodes of the entire series, man. And that is, of course, a 10! Out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. So as always, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my socials if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.